Okay, good morning class. We're once again here with our topic reproduction in plants and animals. Today we are going to talk about the third video of asexual reproduction, and today we shall be talking about vegetative propagation. We are going to talk about vegetative propagation. That means we are going to propagate something from the vegetative part of the plant. Till now, in the first and second video of asexual reproduction, we talked about lower organisms, generally single cellular ones. But now we are going to talk about basically plants. Here in vegetative propagation, we shall be talking about plants only. Only plants. So, we are going to propagate something, means we are going to develop something from the vegetative part of the plant. So first see the classification, and then according to this classification system I will be explaining each one on this side. Let's start. Vegetative propagation has been broadly categorized into two parts: the natural vegetative propagation method. To save the space I have written natural only. Okay, you will write the complete statement. Natural vegetative propagation technique. Then comes this artificial vegetative propagation technique. Two techniques: natural vegetative propagation technique and natural artificial. Then natural is of three types. It can either be done by the stem, the plant root, or the leaves. Then artificial can be done by three techniques: cutting, layering, and grafting. Cutting can be of stem, root, and leaves. Layering can be mound and air layering, and grafting is a separate technique which has no classifications. So, to every place, natural vegetative propagation, natural vegetative propagation by stem, natural vegetative propagation by root, by leaves, artificial by stem, artificial by root. Similarly, you have to write its complete name. So, let us start. I am making a margin, and we are talking about natural. Natural vegetative PATI propagation. Okay, now it's a very simple topic. You have all seen this happening around you. Number one, by stem. C, by stem. We are going to talk about natural vegetative propagation by stem. And as an example, you can take potato or onion, sweet potato, etc. Now you, after seeing the examples, you know well how plant is propagated from a potato. If you see a potato, it generally bears some nodes on its surface. Potato, when given some moisture, it starts to develop some nodes. These nodes are also called as eyes sometimes. Then what a farmer has to do is to cut each eye separately. So how many pieces he got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And these each 6 pieces of this potato, each bearing the eye or the bud, will be planted, and then after some time each piece will propagate into a complete new plant, and thus we get to know about natural vegetative propagation by stem. Then comes root. I hope you have understood well about the stem. Then we come to root. Root, an example can be carrot. Okay, sorry. Sweet potato will not be an example of such. Sweet potato is a root. You can take sweet potato example over here. Okay. Root, talking about root, carrot is a root. We can plant a part of carrot and get the summer propagation. Then by leaves. Leaves example can be bryophyllum. Bryophyllum is a larger leaf. You can cut the leaf and plant it on the ground or in a pot, and then that leaf, the roots from the leaf will start to grow to the part which is under the soil, ground or pot. It will start to develop roots, and then this leaf will alone develop into a complete plant, and thus we see natural propagation by stem, root and leaves. Very simple. Now moving to the artificial ones. This is also a very easy topic. Artificial by stem. Thus, artificial by stem. We can talk about sugarcane. You all must have eaten sugarcane or must have seen how sugarcane is planted. Sugarcane plant looks like this. It bears several nodes and internodes. This position is called the node, and this is also a node, and the space between two nodes is known as internode. Each node, when you see a mature sugarcane plant, you find a small size root-like development over the nodes. Roots always develop over the nodes. So what a farmer does is to slice the sugarcane into many pieces, and each piece and the piece which we are going to sow should contain the node part. So this would look something like this. Sorry. It will look like this will be the current part, this would be the internode, and this would be sown in the soil, irrigated well, and after some time the sugar cane piece will start to generate roots and hence develop into a complete plant. This would be known as artificial vegetative propagation by stem. Okay, then we move to artificial vegetative propagation by artificial vegetative propagation by roots can be we can talk about blackberry or tamarind. In this case, the root from the plant is taken and planted into the soil. As it was in the case of natural vegetative propagation, same goes in the case of artificial vegetative propagation. The difference is this happens naturally and this has to be performed by artificial means. In this case, potato, if we don't cut the potato in several pieces, then also potato will start to germinate if it gets proper moisture. But here in this case, the stem of the sugarcane will not germinate by its own. It has to be given some artificial interference. Then we come into leaves, and leaves we can talk about rose. Though you see we generally use the stem of the rose, we use branch of the rose, but this could also be a technique to grow the rose plant. But growing rose with the help of stem is comparatively a very easy technique as compared to artificial propagation by leaves. Okay, so generally we'll be taking the example once again in grafting, but this can also be done. Okay, next, layering. Layering could be of two types: mound layering and air layering. We are now going to talk about artificial vegetative propagation. We will be talking about layering. Layering means something has been layered with mud, generally mud. See, it can be of two types. First is mound layering, and the second is air layering. See, in some plants, what we see, if suppose this is a plant with longer stem-like stems, generally this technique is used in shrubs. We all know there are three types of plants broadly categorized. First is herbs, then shrubs, then trees. Herbs are very small in size and generally of medicinal use. Shrubs are larger as compared to herbs, and it is non-medicinal, non-fruiting, generally non-fruiting and generally wild. Then comes plants. We all know about plants. They are larger, they bear flowers, fruit, etc. So this is done in case of shrubs only, because this requires a flexible stem, and plants don't have a flexible stem. We can't do this in a mango plant or guava plant. So what we do, we take this stem and rearrange it because it is flexible. What we do, we put a part of the stem under the ground. We put a part of the stem under the ground. See what we have done. We just took this stem which was moving high. We took that and bent it through the soil. We just bent it through the soil and covered this area with the soil. Now we'll give enough of moisture, we'll irrigate it a bit, and after some time we'll see that roots start to grow at this position. The roots will start to grow at this position. And once the root start to grow at this position, what we can do? We can detach the plant. We can now detach the main plant. So what happened is, we have detached this plant. This plant is now separate, and a new plant has been propagated. A new plant has been propagated by this means. And this is a simple technique of artificial vegetative propagation by layering and by mound-layering. We can do one more thing. See the advantage of this technique. We can take several stems of this plant and put it in the ground and get many plantlets. If suppose we are doing the same with this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, at the time we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more plants. We can get 5 more plants. Means at less time we are getting more plantlets quickly. Lesser time, efficient way. Then air. We are going to do the same thing but in air. This time we have done in ground. This time we are going to do it in air. This is for those plants, those shrubs which don't have that much flexibility. So if this is the stem, the branch maybe, what we'll do, we'll take soil, manure, cow dung manure, a little bit of water, and put it over the leaf and tie it with a cloth made. We'll prepare a mixture of soil, manure and water. We'll cast a mound. We'll cast it over the stem and then tie it with a cotton cloth. Remember, we have to tie it with a cotton cloth because cloth will allow aeration. If we are using polythene for tying, it will not allow aeration and will hamper the process. And then after it has been tied, we'll give some time, we'll keep pouring a small amount of water as required. We'll keep pouring the required amount of water, and then we see that this part will start to develop roots. Then we'll detach the parent plant from this position and we'll use this part as a new plant because it has got roots, it has got stem. Then we'll plant it into the ground and we'll and in some time it will show development or growth and will develop into a new plant. This is the process of artificial vegetative propagation by air mounting, air layering. Now shifting our consideration to grafting, which is an important technique and most widely used one by gardeners. We are going to talk about we are going to talk about grafting. See, grafting is a technique which helps to join two different plants together. In this plant, in this technique, what we can do is to join two plants with different characteristics over each other and get a better result. Though this is highly a hit and trial case. Hit and trial means first we do it and then we try to find out what results we get. Because two plants which you are joining, what matches with each other, what characteristics come in the new plant, we are not sure about it. But we practice this as a hit and trial method, and we have got a lot many good results by this process. What we do, we take two plants. Obviously, when we take two plants, we'll take different characteristics. Suppose the first plant, this utilizes less water, and the second plant is high yielding fruits. Means in the first plant it utilizes less water, and the second plant gives a good produce of the fruits. So this is what we desire, is that the plant should utilize, the new plant should utilize less water and we should get a good yield of fruits. So what we do is we take this lower part of one plant. Obviously the water has to come from the roots, so we'll take the rooting plant downside. This will be known as stalk, and we'll take the high yielding fruit part as the second power plant, and it is known as second. And as we did in the case of air layering, we'll take the mixture of soil, water, manure and tie it with a cloth. In that technique, though we use the same mixture, but it was the same plant. The development was of the same plant. But here we have taken two plants. We are trying to develop something new. In that case, something new was not going to be developed. Here, something new is going to be developed. In this case, we expect that the new plant form will be utilizing less water and giving a large number of fruits. But it may not be the exact case. It may not be the exact case because we are not sure that it will work. So after some time, we'll find roots will start to develop here, and then this plant will get joined, and then we'll have to wait for the fruits to or flowers to develop, and then only we can read or study, observe the characteristics. And as I told, this is a highly risk case of hit and trial. The desired result may not come, and if the desired result does not come, this means we have to try it once again, maybe with some other plants. A very good example of grafting can be seen in rose. Gardeners are using grafting as a very good technique for developing new variety of plants. You might get to see in the gardeners one rose plant bearing more than one color of flower. Basically, by nature, one plant bears one color of flowers. That may be white or red, yellow. But in case of some gardeners, you may find that one rose plant is bearing red, white and yellow flowers at the same time. This happens because of grafting. The gardener has sold you a plant which has been grafted, and hence you may get two different colors of flower in the same plant. Some of the gardeners have produced different types of fruits, more than two types of fruits in the same plant. Okay, so this was all about grafting. We come to an end of this video. You can post your questions. I'll give you time. You'll post all your doubts over the WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you.